Hey y'all, hey everybody, it's me, Dolores, the pastor's daughter. So I am back with chapter 4 of the Divorcing Your Parent book. You guys have been following this series of readings and review. Um, I've been going through the book Divorcing a Parent, which is right there on the left hand side of the screen. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me check and make sure you can hear me okay. Going through the book Divorcing a Okay, so y'all can hear me loud and clear on YouTube. So, I've been going through the book, Divorcing a Parent. And so we are on chapter 4. We have been making great progress. And like I've been expressing throughout this whole series so far, is that I just really feel blessed to have discovered this book and how much it has made so much sense in my journey thus far. And it coincides with even the process that I took to write the book, which is right there on the right hand side of the screen. And then I, have highlighted some of the parallels throughout reading this book. Sometimes I feel like sometimes when you shift your focus from something, you kind of gain clarity. And that's what I feel like I needed to do. I didn't really have this whole thought process together before I did it, but now that we are halfway through this reviewing this book, I feel like I have a lot of clarity as to why I needed to take a break from reviewing my own book. Um, and so I just found that interesting. And hold on one second, y'all. I'm supposed to be recording. I forgot to set up my Otter app so I can record this session. So how are y'all doing? Okay, like let's get some greetings out of the way. I'm doing well. Had a good day. I did a couple videos for you guys, a couple live streams. So I would love for y'all to go back and check those out. Let me know your thoughts. I did do a video about the young lady who married the 63-year-old pastor bishop guy. And I had a slightly different point of view. Well, not slightly. I think it was a big difference in my point of view versus what I've heard out there. Um, and I was coming more from a perspective of a daughter and someone who also got married when I was 18 years old, like right after my birthday. Um, and so I feel like it was important just to kind of put my thoughts out there and just kind of think about it from her perspective and the mindset of a young woman who would, marry a man like that, or an older man that, with that significant of an age difference. And, um, it happens. It's not uncommon, and she is, technically of legal age, um, but it's concerning when it does happen, right? It's concerning on his side, but I think it's concerning on her side, and it speaks to a failure on her father's part, in my opinion. And I feel like the man who married her, the man that she married should never have had access to her, you know. But so, I want you guys to go back and check that video out. And then I don't even remember what I did the other video on. You guys are tired. I don't even remember. Which is, I mean, not that's a common occurrence, I'm very forgetful, you guys. But Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, we are on chapter 4, and we are just moving right along. So we've approached the this part of the journey of the process of divorcing a parent, where we prepare ourselves for the divorce. So the author talks about preparing your inner child. Like I said, like I've done this entire time. I just kind of thumb through the chapter. Um, to just kind of see what exercises were there and to see how long the chapter was. Because I told y'all she has some pretty long chapters, but this chapter 4 is actually the shortest one. So I don't think we'll be on here that long tonight, well, this morning. But I'm proud to be, at day 24 of the virtual book launch. To be honest with you, I have not even really been keeping track of how sales or anything is going, because it's just really not my focus. But what I would like is for you guys to join my mailing list. That's what I do keep an eye on a lot and I know that a lot of you are waiting for the paperback to come out, which will be in April. I'm by mid-April 2022, in case you're watching this way later. But so this first book in the series will be out. The paperback will be available in April, and so yeah. So I know a lot of people are waiting for that, and so I want to send you a text. So opt into my text alerts, and I send you an email and let you know as soon as it's available. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna go through it like chapter by chapter, and you know, and like I was saying, I want to divorce my father, but I want to state my case. Um, I want to officially do this. I want to officially divorce my father. And so I feel like what I need is, as part of my closure, as part of my healing, is to speak my book, and in a way that, where I lay out, lay my case out, and then, where I can get you guys input too. I would really like um, to have input and feedback from you all. Like I said, this is not really like a common thing. So, if we can open up a dialogue about it, then it's, highly possible that we can prevent it from happening to other people. Um, because we would have raised awareness, and alerted people to the severity of, the impact of toxic relationships, um, and religious narcissism and spiritual abuse, and all of those things, and childhood trauma. So it just, this channel really covers a good little range of topics, but they all kind of center um, center back on a major theme, and that is religious narcissism and its impact. And so, I just think that, I think that we can really grow this community and really raise awareness. But I feel like this is something that I need to do as part of, my healing journey. So I'm just, hoping that you guys will take the journey with me, and offer your feedback, and um, whatever you feel like is needed is perfectly fine. So um, as far as chapter 4, let's get right on into it. Okay, so this is titled Preparing Yourself for Divorce. And it reads like this: You are ready to divorce your parent when you have gained the inner knowledge that it is time to cease trying to resolve your conflicts with your parent, when you are not willing to continue the relationship as it is, and when you wish to make this known to your parent. But saying goodbye to your parent is something you need to do internally long before you actually tell your parent about it or act on it. Even though you have made the decision to divorce your parent, there is still some preparatory task you will need to accomplish before going through with the divorce. And the first part of this is preparing your inner child. Because you have to remember, like, it's like your inner child is still really bruised and afraid, and probably has been silenced for so long that there's, work that needs to be done in that area. But let's continue to read. Even though you may have decided to divorce your parent, there is a part of you that will never think it is a good idea. That part of you is your inner child. Although you may not remember your early childhood feelings, you have all we have all unknowingly incorporated into ourselves the child each of us once was, with a child's fears, insecurities, and desperate need to be loved. That child is alive and with you, and as forceful a presence as if he or she were living in your household. Wow. Okay. When you are afraid to try, it is a child in you who is afraid to try. When you feel that you have to be good all the time to be loved, it is a little child within you who feels this way, who is still looking for what you wanted so desperately when you were little. As surely as you would have to prepare a real child for a major change in her life, for example, starting school for the first time or moving to a new town, you will need to prepare your inner child for the loss of your parent. While you may be ready to divorce your parent, your inner child most assuredly is not. As noted in the last chapter, you, that is, your inner child, may fear that you will not survive without your parent, much as children cannot survive without their parents to provide for them and protect them. Okay, the next section is discovering the child within. And if you're just joining, we are reading from the book Divorcing Your Parent. That's the one that's illustrated on the left hand side of the screen. And then my book, Provoked, is on the right hand side of the screen, which is available for digital download on Amazon right now. And then the paperback will be available in April of 2022, in case you're watching this much later. Then you should already have it. Um, but it'll be available really soon. So join my mailing list and subscribe to text notifications so that I can let you know as soon, okay, as soon and very soon as it is available. And I'm trying to hold on, y'all. Did y'all hear me say soon and very? So why is that song now in my head? Soon and very soon, we are going to meet again. Soon and very soon, we are going to meet. Soon and very soon, we are going to see again. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Okay, so it's right there. I pinned the link to sign up for my mailing list, and I pinned the link for you to download the book, the Kindle version of my book, and then you know what? I think I sent you guys. I think I pinned the wrong one. Oh dear. Okay, that's my bad. I think I sent you guys the one for Canada. I think I sent you. I think I. Y'all. Y'all know I get a little special from time to time, okay? And that was a time. Okay, so hold on. Okay, let me I'm pinning this first, okay? Hold on. Let me pin this. Okay. Listen. That's to sign up for my mailing list, okay, you guys? And then I'm going to pin the link. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear this thing scrolling? I'm just scrolling. And then in the description box, I also have the link for my mailing list and for the book. And so you can go there as well. And then I think this is the same one. Okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Yeah, that's fine. Um, but it's also pinned to the description. Okay, you guys. So just in case I've messed up, because it's late, y'all, and I really should be asleep. But no, I wanted to come out here and hang out with y'all and read this book. Okay. Okay. So discovering the child within. In order to prepare your inner child for the divorce, you must first connect with that child and become aware of how he or she feels. The following exercise will help you to contact your inner child. Okay, so here's another exercise, y'all. These remember I told y'all these exercises are really good, like really good. Okay, number 1, sit or lay down comfortably with your eyes closed. Number 2, close your eyes and begin doing deep breathing, inhaling as much air as possible, and then making sure to expel it all before you take another deep breath. Do this for a minute or two, or until you feel relaxed. Number 3, with your eyes still closed, visualize your inner child as you imagine she would look. Number 4, notice how you feel about her. Do you like her? Number 5, notice how she seems to feel about you. Does she seem open to you or does she seem rejecting? Number 6, try to make some contact with her, whether it be reaching out to touch her hand or hug her, or just making eye contact with her. How does she react? Does she welcome contact with you or does she turn away? If you are unable to visualize your inner child and then make positive contact with her on the first try, you are fortunate indeed. Many people are not able to visualize their inner child very easily the first time. And even those who do are often unable to have a positive connection with her. My first experience with this exercise was typical. When I first tried to visualize my inner child, I just drew a blank. I couldn't see anything, no matter how hard I tried. After several tries, I was finally able to visualize my inner child, but I found I didn't even like her. She was dressed in dirty clothes, her hair needed washing and combing, and her teeth even needed to be brushed. When I was asked to try to make contact with her, I didn't want to because she was so dirty. I realized that she looked the way I often had as a child. No wonder people outside my home hadn't been too eager to pay attention to me. I realized I would mentally have to give my inner child a bath, wash and comb her hair, and put clean clothes on her before I could be comfortable around her. Then, reluctantly, I held her on my lap. She wasn't too fond of me at first either, but as I took care of her by cleaning her up, dressing her in a pretty dress, and putting bows on her, she finally warmed up to me too. If you are having a difficult time visualizing your inner child, try the following exercise. Okay, y'all, here's another exercise. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready for the exercise? Okay, this is for if you are having a hard time or difficult time visualizing your inner child. Number 1, look through old family albums to find some pictures of yourself when you were a child. If they are available, pick out pictures of yourself as an infant, as a toddler, as a young child, and as an adolescent. Choose pictures that most remind you of how you felt at these particular ages. After studying these pictures carefully, one by one, see if you can retain their images when you close your eyes. It might help to do the following. Study your infant picture for several minutes. Now close your eyes and see if you can hold on to that image in your mind's eye. If you cannot do so, try again. Continue until you can see the image of yourself as an infant, a toddler, a young child, and an adolescent at will. This exercise should help you to do the visualization exercise above. Try it again now, using the memories of the photos as reminders of how you looked. You may choose different images at different times. One day seeing the infant, another day the adolescent, and so on. Once you have identified your inner child, you can begin to communicate with her, reassuring her that you are there for her and finding out how she feels and what she needs. This can be done through a verbal or written dialogue, an imaginary conversation between the adult part of you and the child part of you. Start your dialogue with a question such as, "How are you today?" Or, "What's the matter? You seem upset. Is something bothering you?" As you practice this dialogue, your inner child will eventually be able to express what she is feeling. The adult part of you will then be able to listen to the child, soothe her, and assume responsibility for her. In essence, becoming the good parent you never had. Many discover that their inner child is reluctant to trust them. This was Paula's experience. Okay, now we're going to get into a story about Paula, y'all. Okay, this is what Paula said. Okay, first of all, let me just pause for a second. What do y'all think about these exercises? I I did this, but it seemed like my experience was not as smooth as as how I read it. Like there was a time like I laid on my couch and I just like cried like a little girl. And I felt like at that moment because I already have this this knowledge of counseling techniques and such. And of course, I had talked to my own counselor about it. But I just noticed that I needed to cry out for her. I needed to, um, I really just needed to allow her to cry and for me to allow myself to cry for her. And that was a really powerful experience. And I guess since, I'm on the topic of, crying out for my inner child, I actually did this for my father as well. And I made this video about it. I have to like go back and find it somewhere, y'all. But I know I mentioned it before in a video that I cried for my father's inner child because it was like he's not going to do it. He probably doesn't even give his inner child any voice or any type of um I don't know. I don't know. I think he's just stuck in his inner child. I think he's stuck in that place probably. But I felt like I I grieved for the little boy that was abused and kidnapped. Like my father was kidnapped, y'all. And I grieved for him, you know? And I think that I also grieved for him for myself because it was like I had to show his inner child that emotion because I needed to let it go. I didn't need to give him or continue to give him that alibi, you know, because then I'd be denying my own inner child um, that voice. I would be denying my own inner child to cater to his, which would really, really be no different than what, has happened throughout my whole life. And so I felt like I needed to really cry out for his inner child and just really, I say mourn his inner child, but like grieve for his inner child because I needed to release that excuse too. But also because, like, doesn't his inner child also deserve that? I don't know. But that's something that we can definitely get into, like, more in depth discussion about. But I did. I just thought about the little boy that must have really felt neglected and unloved, and I think about how his parents failed him, and and then I have to release that because I can't allow that compassion for him to cloud my judgment of what's best for me now. You know, and I'm doing the work to heal from my childhood trauma, and I have the insight of knowing that the man who caused my childhood trauma is also the person who had a lot of childhood trauma, and it's all in my family. So there's a part of me that's connected to it on a on a DNA level. It's like it's ingrained. So it really feels like it's a breaking of a curse. It's a breaking of something that has been a stronghold in my family. But anyway, that's getting totally off topic, y'all. I'm sorry. All right, so we was talking about the exercises, um and I think that we definitely need to do that inner child work. This sounds like some really good stuff, y'all. Okay, so now we are at the part where um we are talking about we already talked about Paula's experience, right? Okay, that's where we left off. Um Okay, so we are at Paula's experience, and she said, I tried to hug my inner child, but she pushed me away. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she didn't want me to hold her because she knew I didn't really love her. I told her I did love her, and she called me a liar. When I asked her why she thought that, she told me I've been ignoring her for so long. Well, she was right. I have been ignoring her and her needs for a long, long time. I told her I was sorry, and then I promised that I would work on paying attention to her needs more. At first, she didn't believe me, but as time passed and she realized that I really was there for her, she began trusting me. That's really deep, y'all. Your inner child needs to learn to trust you. Wait, hold on, y'all. I'm sorry, I read that all wrong. Your inner child needs to learn to trust that you, the adult part of you, will protect and nurture her, not be neglectful and abusive like the other adults in her life have been. Unfortunately, we often end up being as neglectful and abusive to our inner child as our parents were of us when we were children. We ignore our inner child. We are ashamed of her, and we do not take care of her in appropriate ways. We pretend that her feelings of fear and insecurity and her needs to be loved do not exist. We starve her emotionally, never giving her the soothing and comforting she needs. In time, you can establish a good relationship with your inner child. You will need to continually work on connecting with her, asking her how she feels and what she needs from you. You will be surprised at how real her voice will become and at how much you will grow to depend on her to tell you what is going on with you. That is really deep, y'all. And that is really deep. Let's continue. The next section is reassuring your inner child. Perhaps the strongest reason we have for maintaining a relationship with our parents, however destructive the relationship may be, is our intense fear that we will be all alone in a cold world. Even though you may be surrounded by a loving and caring spouse, children of your own, friends, and a support group or therapist, The child inside you may strongly resist cutting the cord. Since the child inside does not know that he will survive if he does not have his parents, he will feel totally abandoned, helpless, and alone. Therefore, it will be absolutely necessary for you to reassure him that he will not be alone at all, but will have you, the adult part of you, to take care of him. The adult side of you is the part that makes you go to work even when you don't feel like it, and take care of your children even when you are tired. This is the part of you that must now be there for your inner child while he goes through the trauma of losing his or her mother. His mother or father. The adult part of you will also be mourning the loss of your parent, but it is far easier to deal with adult mourning than with the child's feelings of helplessness and abandonment. We will cover adult mourning in later chapters after you have already divorced your parent. At this point, you need to focus on your inner child's anticipated feelings of loss. Your inner child is so panicky that at the thought of losing a parent that he will do anything to hold on to that parent. After all, you are asking him to give up his mommy or daddy. And what child will willingly do this? For this reason, the child within may be at odds with the adult part of you and may end up controlling the adult if you aren't careful. The adult side of you will need to take charge of divorcing your parent and not allow the child to talk you into staying. The only part, the only way your inner child will go along with your plan to divorce your parent is if he has implicit trust in your adult self to take care of him. He will feel so lost without his parent that he may make you weaken and run back to mommy or daddy. No matter how unavailable or abusive your parent really is, your inner child may force you to return time and time again. He would rather have the fantasy that is still hope than face the fact that there is none. To your inner child, any mommy or daddy, no matter how abusive or neglectful, is better than no mommy or daddy at all. If he is going to allow you to take his mommy away, you better be sure to replace her with another parent first. Although you may have people in your life now who can be supportive and caring, you cannot depend on anyone else to meet your child's needs. The adult that you are can provide the love and support your inner child so desperately needs and can act exactly as a good parent would act towards a cherished child. Wow. Now that is some really deep work, y'all. Like that is some really deep work to be able to, assume that position in your own life. And like that's just and you can just imagine how deep of work this is and how intense it'll be and how healthy it'll be for you, to like go through this process of work, actually working the steps and going through the exercises and really being thoughtful about the process because even as you work through the process, it's, giving you a lot of clarity and it's allowing you to open up to yourself in a way that you weren't able to do before. This is some really good work here. Okay, so the next section is talking turkey to your inner child. Okay. Y'all know what talking turkey is. It's like, hey, you got to say it like it is. Okay, and this is what it says. Another important another important part of preparing your inner child for the loss of your parent is to tell her about your intention to divorce before you do it, just as you would tell a real child. You can do this through a dialogue or in a letter. The following is a dialogue I had with my inner child. Okay, so I'm gonna read through this and I hope I can do it some justice. But it goes like back and forth between her inner child and her adult self in this dialogue. Okay, so let me see. Okay, the child speaks first. I want to go see my mommy. I miss her. I know you do, honey. But we aren't going to see her anymore. Why not? I love her. I know you do, but I have decided that it isn't good for us to see her. Why? Because she isn't nice to us and she makes us feel bad about ourselves. She's nice to us sometimes. Yes, but she is so changeable that I can't trust her. She does say mean things sometimes, and it hurts my feelings. Yes, she does. And that is why I'm not going to expose you to that kind of hurt from her ever again. But what will we do without a mommy? Who would take care of me? I am your mommy now. I will be a good mommy to you. I will take care of you. How will you take care of me? Will you play with me? I will take care of you by holding you when you cry, by listening to you when you are troubled, by making sure you get the proper food and rest, and by keeping you away from people who are abusive. And yes, I will play with you. Are you are going to do all that for me? Yes, and more. Well, maybe it won't be so bad not seeing mommy. Maybe not. And if it is, I'll hold you while you cry. Oh, oh, y'all. Oh, man. Wow. Okay, so now she reads this. First of all, let's just talk about this dialogue, okay? I mean, wouldn't we have loved to like hear that? Like, for our parent, like our toxic parent, to say those things and mean those things and act out those things in our lives. It just seems so simple, even like when we say it to our inner child. But the inner child, it is so difficult to believe it because we've been hurt so much. Mm, that is really deep, y'all. I like um how comforting she was to her inner child, and how she allowed her inner child to have a voice, and to ask the questions, that was concerning her. This is some really good work. Y'all have to let me know, like, if you're doing this. I definitely think that, we need to have a couple exercises and, kind of get into this a little bit more, but this seems to be really effective. 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 Anyway, whatever. Y'all know what I mean. Okay. And so the next part is a letter that Emily, one of her clients, wrote to her inner child. So this is Emily's letter to her inner child. Dear inner child, first of all, I want you to know that I love you very much. I also want you to know that I am working very hard on being a good mommy to you, the kind of mommy you need. I know that I have not always been a good mommy to you, and I know I have ignored many of your needs, but things are going to be different from now on. Next, I want you to know that I am going to get a divorce from my mother, and I plan on never seeing her again. I know this will scare you and make you very sad, but it isn't as if you are going to be alone. After all, you'll always have me. I know you are going to miss her, and so will I. But from now on, it is just going to be you and me, and that's going to be enough. Love, Mommy. Oh, yeah. Do these make y'all get a little teary eyed a little bit? Does this like just pull on your heartstrings though? Does it? Ugh, y'all, this is just. Okay, look. Okay, this is what the next part says. Although this dialogue and letter may sound somewhat corny or hokey to you, when you make a deep connection with your inner child, you will relate to her in an entirely different way than you did at first. Dialogues and letters such as these touch a very deep and real part of us, a part that must be prepared if our efforts to sever ties with our parents are to be successful. Gradually, you will come to realize that all the work you are doing with your inner child is actually preparing you for the growth of the adult part of you. While the child has to be acknowledged, understood, and handled, it is the adult, after all, who is to do all of the handling. And the adult in you will not only be taking care of the child, but will also be in charge of directing your life from now on. In the beginning, your adult self may be weak, and so you may have difficulty giving support, love, and understanding to your inner child. But as the adult grows in her understanding, confidence, and handling of reality, and as she matures in the process, she will be more helpful to the inner child. Just as a new parent begins to feel more and more confident as she realizes she is doing a good job with her new baby, we adults who are unskilled and untrained and who feel too immature to take care of our inner child will gain courage, strength, and confidence as we reach out to that child and take good care of her. This is how our weak adult grows into a responsible parent. Through practice, through trial and error, through experiencing success, we are encouraged to do more of the same. Wow. So this is like it's a double benefit because you give your inner child that voice and that comfort and that parenting, the love and the nurturing that the child needed, and the protection and all of that good stuff. And then the adult part of you actually grows and your confidence is built. And that's the confidence that was, shaky from, your childhood experiences. So this is like, seems to be really beneficial on a lot of different levels. Okay, so the next part goes into an emotional dress rehearsal. Ooh, okay, so this is like more prepping your inner child. Okay. In addition to preparing your inner child, you will need to practice saying goodbye to your parent. This will give you the courage to do it for real and will prepare you for the feelings that ending the relationship will evoke. You can do this practicing or role playing by yourself, with your therapist, in your support group, or with a friend. You can also practice saying goodbye by talking into a tape recorder or writing a letter that you do not send. Here are some exercises that many of my clients have found helpful. Number one, and these are some exercises, like I said, that her clients found helpful. And number one is practice saying out loud to a trusted friend or loved one exactly what you would like to say to your parent as a way of saying goodbye. Ask your friend to remain silent, giving no feedback. Do this several times until you end up sounding the way you want to. Number two, do the same thing, but this time with your friend playing the role of your parent, responding to what you say in a way she might imagine your parent would. You may want oh, I'm sorry about that, y'all. Oh gosh, it's so loud. I'm gonna turn it down. Sorry. Okay. Number two, do the same thing, but this time with your friend playing the role as your parent, responding to you, um, responding to what you say in a way she might imagine your parent would. You may want to coach her beforehand, telling her about your parent and the way she normally responds to you. This will help your friend stay in character. After the exercise, ask your friend for feedback as to how you sounded and how she imagines your parent might feel about what you said. Number three, talk to an empty chair. Imagine that it is your parent. When you have said everything you want to say, get up and sit in that chair. Now play the role of your parent and respond the way you imagine he might respond to what you have said. Change chairs and roles as often as you need to. Number four, practice saying goodbye to a picture of your parent. Number 5, have a fantasy confrontation with your parent by doing the following. Lie down on your bed or couch and get as comfortable as possible. Close your eyes and begin to do deep breathing. Imagine that you are going to meet with your parent for the last time. Decide where this meeting will be. Try to choose a place where you will feel relatively safe, perhaps your home, a public place, or somewhere outdoors. Take a look around and notice the details of your meeting place. For example, the landscape or the furniture. You are going to be in the unique position of being able to see your parent approach, but he will not be able to see you. Notice how your parent looks, his posture, the expression on his face. Now notice these same things as he spots you. Sit down together. Tell your parent everything you have always wanted to say. Since this will be the last time you will see each other, he will not be able to interrupt you or to respond until you are completely finished. When you have said all that you want to say, imagine your parent's response might be what you have said. Notice how your parent's comments have affected you. Now respond to his comments, standing up for yourself the best way you can. Once again, imagine how your parent will respond. Now it is your turn again to defend yourself. You have the last word, so be sure you say everything you want to say. After you have finished, say goodbye. Say it several times quietly to yourself and then say it out loud. Repeat it over and over, saying it louder as you go along. Watch your parent walk Watch as your parent walks away. Notice how you are feeling. Wow. So what do y'all think about the role play? It seems like I guess it would be effective. I don't know. It seems like I have like a weird time with the role play stuff. It seems I don't know, just a little bit weird to me. Like to role play to like to an empty chair or something like that. I think I'd rather just like talk to somebody and maybe do role play that way. Like pretty much say what I want to say, and yeah, I think that would be better for me. But I wonder, like, what do you think would be better for you? Like to talk to an empty chair, or, to like do the back and forth where you are the parent and then you're yourself, and then you do that back and forth, or have a friend, or what? Like, what would you want to do, or would you just not want to do any of these, any of these exercises? I don't know. Okay. Um, these exercises can prepare you for the real thing. As you complete the exercises, notice how you are feeling. Are you feeling stronger now that you have proved to yourself you can say goodbye? Or are you feeling very frightened, realizing that you are not ready to say goodbye? If you're feeling afraid to say goodbye, write down all the reasons for your fears. This will help you to look at them. This will help you to look at them more rationally. If you found that you could not say goodbye, what is standing in your way? There are good reasons why you are not ready to do so at this time. Honor those feelings and write about them. Then try this exercise at another time. That's good. I like how she, also gives you that that understanding that you may not be fully ready, to take the necessary steps, but like to still kind of like explore your feelings and then honor those feelings, and then, allow them to come and go freely. And I think that that's a really good thing that she added in here. It doesn't make you feel like pressure. You don't feel pressure either way it goes. And even if, there was a time when I didn't really want to say that I love my father. I felt bad that I still loved him, and that he still um could like invoke emotion, that he could make me cry, just the thought of um of the state of our relationship and stuff like that. And then I came to terms with it, that like that's okay. It's not that I'm in the wrong for feeling like that, even though I just wanted to punish myself for it, you know? Because it's like, how can you still love a person? Um, but then you just have to realize that you have to give yourself that grace and allow these emotions to come and go freely. That doesn't mean you need to act on them, that doesn't mean you need to resume contact because you have these feelings sometimes or whatever. It just means that you need to honor how you feel and write down how you feel, document it. And sometimes you'll even find that your fears and what you've been feeling is not really valid, Once you actually write it down, you're just like, wait, hold on. Like, why am I feeling like this? This doesn't really make much sense. Or you're able to kind of talk yourself through it. And, whichever way it needs to be, whether that means continuing the relationship or not. Um, I don't think that at this point it has to be a decision. Sometimes you just give it a little time. Give yourself time to allow yourself to gain clarity about what you're feeling. So the next section in the book, and this is actually the last section, and it's called Your Supporting Cast. Okay? And it reads like this. Adult children who decide to divorce a parent will need a tremendous amount of support from friends and family during this scary limbo between the familiar and the new. As Howard Halpern, author of Cutting Loose, calls it, your therapist, the members of your support group, and your friends and other loved ones will be vitally important in helping you through this difficult time. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, friends and family often do not agree with the decision to divorce a parent, so their support may not be forthcoming. In this case, you may need to develop a new support system and adopt a new family. For some people, a therapist has become a new parent, fulfilling many of their unmet needs for approval and undivided attention. For others, a 12-step program, their sponsors, and other people they meet in the program become their new family, providing structure, guidance, support, and acceptance. Some people are fortunate enough to have a mate who is very supportive and who offers a shoulder to cry on and open arms to comfort. That's me in my field. But many people do not have any of these supports, and that's breaks my heart. If you have no established support system, begin by making new friends, people who are understanding and who can give you the emotional support you need as you go through this important transition in your life. More and more people are aware of the devastation that coming from a dysfunctional family can cause in an adult's life. And these people will not judge you as harshly as others may have in the past. Joining a 12-step group such as Adult Children of Alcoholics, Al Anon, or CODA, which is Codependents Anonymous, or a group for incest survivors will help you to meet supportive people who have been through the same thing as you and who really understand. In addition to joining already existing groups, you might decide to form a group specifically for people who are thinking about divorcing a parent or who have already done so. This book can serve as your guide. You can put a notice in your local paper or spread the word at a 12 step or other group meetings. There are many people who feel just as alone as you do and who will be grateful for your interest in them. So y'all join my mailing list, you guys. We're building a community here. You see what the book says. That's what I feel like is part of my purpose um, is building a community where we support each other through these processes that we find ourselves in sometimes. And then we can support each other who isn't necessarily having to make this decision with a parent, but is making this decision with another toxic relationship. And I would imagine that sometimes the emotional toll can be pretty devastating as well in other relationships, especially when you think about some of the things that have happened in them, how long these relationships last. the other types of relationship, the relation the person has to that person that they may have victimized. So all of those things can factor into it, and I just feel like it doesn't. This doesn't necessarily have to just include people who find themselves in these type of positions with their parent. That this can apply to other relationships. So for that reason, I really would love for you to share this video, share my YouTube page and my Facebook page with anyone who you feel like is going through this too. Okay, so I'll continue reading. It is very important that you do not isolate yourself from other people for too long a time. It is, of course, understandable that you may be afraid to reach out to others. After all, your wounds are fresh, and you don't want to be hurt again by opening up to other people. But throughout the divorce process, you will need the support of others in order to maintain the courage to stand by your decision. And the more needs you have met by caring, supportive friends, the less likely you will be to pine away for your parent or return um, to the empty well one more time. You may discover that you have a lot to overcome when it comes to reaching out to make new friends. Because you were abused, neglected, or betrayed by your parent, you probably have a difficult time trusting others. You may assume that others will betray you, mistreat you, or use you, as your parent did. In addition, you probably receive such messages from your parents as don't trust other people, don't tell others your business, and no one cares for you like your family. These messages may have damaged your ability to open up and confide in others, to ask for help, or to trust others. You may see your peers as threats and competition rather than as potential supporters. And this is some of the things that my father said to me too. He was telling me that um, making me were trying to make me afraid to go to other churches. I still haven't been back to church, you guys. Like, it's been since 2019, and I just don't even see myself ever going back. But but he did that, and then he would talk about me going out and all of that stuff. Like, all of this is in the book. Like, you will see, like, there is such a parallel. Like, a lot of these stories are the same as the stories that I'm sharing with you guys in my book. So that's why I just feel like I told y'all this just came right out of heaven for me. Like, this was just right on time that I discovered this book. It isn't like, I know you guys can tell just in my videos how differently I'm speaking about this whole situation and everything. Like, I know that y'all have had to see the growth. I see the growth. And it's just like I have so much more clarity now, and I'm just so much more calm about the situation. Um, but not that I'm not gonna, what I'm saying? Like, I'm still staying on track here, okay? And read between the lines. I'm still staying on track here. Okay. So I'm still saying what I need to say. I am still I feel like expressing my righteous anger. But I it's controlled. It's I don't know. I don't really know what the word is to really describe it, but it's just different. It's just different. Okay, let's do these last few paragraphs. As important as it is to develop a support system, it is equally important that it be healthy support. Healthy support is when others listen to us, allow us the time and space to express our emotions, and encourage us to do what is best for us. Unhealthy support is when others tell us what to do to take care of us to the point at which we don't have to take care of ourselves. Okay, let me read that one more time. Unhealthy support is when others tell us what to do and take care of us to the point at which we don't have to take care of ourselves. Be sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who know how to give healthy support. So here's what I'm taking from that is healthy support is It's not when people tell you what to do, but also not when they do it for you. You know what I'm saying? They're not enabling your behavior, or maybe that's not the right thing to say there, but they're not they're not encouraging you to not take an active role in your healing and in your process, right? They're encouraging you through the process. They're not telling you what to do. Yeah, you need to divorce him, or no, you don't need to divorce her. They're just encouraging you to work through the process so that you come to an informed decision yourself. And if you have moments of weakness, healthy support also is when people say, hey, you're having a moment of weakness now. Remember the list that you made up of all of the negative things and the reasons why you needed to stay this course. And remember, you told me to remind you that if you get weak, that you have this list that you need to refer back to. And that's what happened to me in a lot of cases. It was like I had to go back to those recordings, go back to the recordings, and keep writing in my book, keep, what I'm saying, and stay the course, because I knew that I would have times where I would question, was I making the right decision? Um, but I would, say that all those encompass like healthy support. Okay, last two paragraphs read, some people run right out and try to find a surrogate parent other than a therapist to replace the one they are in the process of divorcing. Many adult children have the tendency to become attracted to or befriend parental types of people who take on the role of a caretaker. This is especially true of those who do not have a romantic partner. Be careful not to fall into this trap. While the parent stand in may appear to be very loving and caring, chances are that you will attract the very same kind of person that your parent is. Keep in mind how hard you've worked to disconnect from your parent. Why would you want to get another one just like him? Try to differentiate Try to differentiate between unhealthy attractions, those intense feelings of intense merging with someone, and attractions based on mutual caring, interest, and healthy needs. The stage is set. Your inner child is prepared for the divorce. Your adult is prepared to take care of the inner child. You've rehearsed your lines and you have your supporting cast. The next part of the book will guide you through the divorce itself and help you deal with its impact on your life. Oh, y'all. So that's the end of part one. But I want to go back where is one paragraph where it says, some people run right out and try to find a surrogate parent. I did this. I did this. I excuse me. Early on in my process, I discovered R.C. Blake's, and he was talking about the very same things that my father was pretty much suffering from. He was talking about the narcissist and all of that. And so I felt a strong connection to him because I really felt like he was the man I wish my father was. And I even did a video compilation between the two of them where um, my father was preaching a sermon and R.C. Blakes was also preaching a sermon. And I did kind of like a back and forth between the two of them in that video. Y'all have to go back and check that out too. It's pretty interesting. But R.C. Blakes was talking about witches and warlocks, and he was mentioning like a lot of the issues that my father was having, um, a lot of the behaviors that my father would display across the pulpit. And so that's why I thought it would be interesting to, also display my father, preaching and how he was displaying those very characteristics that R.C. Blanks was mentioning of warlocks. And so, like I said, y'all have to go back and check that out though. But I felt like, I called him like my internet father, my YouTube father. That's what I call R.C. Blakes. And I still, have a fondness towards him. But I realized at some point in my journey that I was trying to replace my father like in my mind, and I didn't feel like that was healthy for me. And so I, of course, stopped listening to RC Blakes. I just really kind of lost interest because I felt like, how do I know that he's not just like my father and just pandering to women and saying the things that women want to hear? And at that time, he hadn't really done any. He hadn't really done any like content that was aimed at men, and so I felt like, the chances are is that he really is kind of pandering to women. And then there was some other things that kind of happened on the spiritual whistleblowers page where she talked about him, and I just felt like that was more of confirmation that I needed to just pull back from that. But it's really interesting now to read this part of the book that talks about people trying to find a surrogate parent. And I even did a video about this, and when I said that, I don't view RC Blakes as like my YouTube father anymore because I didn't feel like it was healthy for me to try to replace my father. I don't need to replace him. What I need to do is like just purge him from my system. Just divorce him. That's what I need to do, you know? And so, and I came to that realization. I don't really know because I haven't been watching. So, if y'all going to ask me anything about RC Blaze, I really can't say anything about him. I do, like early on, his content resonated with me and what I was going through. And I feel like it really helped me. And I know that it helped other people too because I recommended him to other people who said that it helped them, that the messages that he delivered helped them. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, But I don't feel that that I need to replace um, another man and put him in the role of a father for me. I just don't feel like I need a father. Like I just don't need anybody to fulfill that role. What does that even look like? And it's just, um, to me, it would be almost like, I don't know. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. I'm just not into it. It feels dysfunctional to me now. Um, it feels like it's not really, healthy. It's not what I need. And, and so I just rather not, I'd rather not replace him. I'd rather just divorce him and then be done with it, you know? And so that's the direction that I'm moving forward in now. So when we come back, we'll be into part 2. So that was all of part 1. And that was kind of doing all the groundwork, all the foundational work to prepare us for making the divorce final. Okay. So this is part 2 that we'll be going into. And just kind of skimming through, it looks like it's talking about how to prepare yourself to deal with criticism. That's where it starts off, and then it goes from there. Goes from there. So this is gonna be good stuff, y'all. I hope you guys are finding value in this book, and I cannot wait until we can discuss this in context of my book too, and you guys can see the parallels. And like I told you, I discovered this book after my book actually came out. It was like, I think maybe like a week or something before my book came out. And so I didn't even have this wealth of knowledge that this book provides, but it's confirmation that that not only I was doing the work on the counseling side of things, because you guys know I still work with a therapist. Even though I'm a counselor, I don't counsel myself. Okay. um and so I was doing the work there, but I was also studying, like studying heavily to to figure out what God was really telling me and how I could um really make those things happen in real time, in real life. So I guess I hope that makes sense. I don't know. I'm getting a little tired, so I'm probably not really making much sense. But anyway, so I hope you guys are getting a lot of value out of this. Please like and share the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube page. Y'all, I am trying to grow. I'm trying to grow this community because I just really feel like this message needs to get out. It really needs to be spread. Because I know it will help a lot of people. And I'm hoping that you all will help me to help others. Um, yeah, so that'll do it, right? That'll do it. Make sure that you sign up for my mailing list. Go ahead and grab the digital download of my book, and in anticipation of the paperback, okay? Because you got to get the paperback too. I mean, just get it all. I mean, why not? Because the gas prices isn't the gas. That's the reason why not, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I love your support, your views, your likes, your comments, all of that I view as support, and I appreciate you and I love you for it. You are important to me. I need you to survive. Bye bye for now.